Today, FDA approvals in breast cancer and lung cancer, regulatory advances across several hematologic malignancies, a new drug application accepted in graft versus host disease, and promising Phase 3 results and a European approval in lung cancer. Welcome to OncLive News Network. I'm Brielle Urcioli. In breast cancer, the FDA has granted a full approval to the CDK4/6 inhibitor palbociclib for use in combination with letrozole as a frontline treatment for postmenopausal women with ER-positive, HER2-negative disease. Palbociclib's full approval is based on results from the Phase 3 PALOMA-2 trial, which showed that the addition of palbociclib to letrozole reduced the risk of disease progression by 42% versus letrozole alone. Additionally, the investigator-assessed median progression-free survival with the palbociclib regimen was 24.8 months versus 14.5 months with the letrozole alone. The median PFS by blinded independent central review was 30.5 months versus 19.3 months, respectively. The objective response rate was 42% with a combination versus 35% in the control arm. Overall, the PFS benefit with palbociclib was sustained across subgroups. The FDA also granted a full approval to osimertinib as a treatment for patients with metastatic EGFR T790M mutation-positive non-small cell lung cancer. The indication is for treatment after the failure of an EGFR TKI. The approval was based on progression-free survival results seen in the Phase 3 AURA3 trial, in which osimertinib demonstrated a median progression-free survival of 10.1 months compared with 4.4 months for standard platinum-based chemotherapy. Osimertinib was originally granted an accelerated approval in November 2015 based on an overall response rate of 59% across 2 single-arm studies. A priority review designation has been granted by the FDA for Tisangelolucil T, also known as CTL19, as a treatment for pediatric and young adult patients with relapse and refractory B-cell acute lymphoblastic leukemia. The biologics license application for CTL19 is primarily based on results from the ELENA study. The Phase 2 findings showed a complete remission or CR with incomplete blood count recovery rate of 82% with treatment. Moreover, the 6-month overall survival rate was 89% and the disease-free survival rate was 60%. Also in acute lymphoblastic leukemia, the FDA granted a priority review to a supplemental biologics license application that supported the conversion of the accelerated approval of blinatumomab to a full approval as treatment for patients with Philadelphia chromosome-negative, relapsed or refractory B precursor disease. The sBLA for blinatumomab, which is an anti-CD19 agent, is based on the Phase 3 TOWER trial. In the study, treatment with blinatumomab led to a median overall survival of 7.7 months versus 4 months with chemotherapy. The application also includes evidence supporting the use of blinatumomab in patients with Philadelphia chromosome-positive, relapsed or refractory B-cell precursor ALL. In a unanimous decision, the FDA's Oncologic Drugs Advisory Committee recommended approval of subcutaneous rituximab for the treatment of patients with certain blood cancers. The novel co-formulation includes intravenous rituximab along with hyaluronidase, which facilitates the delivery of the medicine beneath the skin. The proposed indications for the treatment include previously untreated follicular lymphoma, previously untreated diffuse large B-cell lymphoma, relapse or refractory low-grade follicular lymphoma, and previously untreated and relapsed or refractory chronic lymphocytic leukemia. The FDA is expected to make a final approval decision by June 26, 2017. A biologic license application was submitted to the FDA for the CAR T-cell therapy axicabtagene ciloleucel, also known as KTEC-19, as a potential treatment for transplant-ineligible patients with relapse or refractory aggressive non-Hodgkin lymphoma. The BLA was based on results from the Phase 2 ZUMA-1 study, in which KTEC-19 led to an 82% objective response rate and a 54% complete response rate for patients with NHL. The responses were observed across subgroups, including those with diffuse large B-cell lymphoma, primary mediastinal B-cell lymphoma, and transformed follicular lymphoma. The FDA has accepted a supplemental new drug application for ibrutinib as a treatment for patients with chronic graft-versus-host disease after failing on one or more lines of systemic therapy. This application is based on data from the single-arm Phase 1b/2 PCYC1129 trial, in which ibrutinib demonstrated an overall response rate of 67%. The agent also showed clinically meaningful and durable responses in those who failed at least one prior treatment for cGVHD. 21% of responders had a complete response and 45% had a partial response. Furthermore, most responders were able to reduce steroid doses to an acceptable minimal level. The FDA will issue its final decision on the ibrutinib sBLA within 12 months from the time of submission. For patients with ALK-positive non-small cell lung cancer, alectinib significantly improved progression-free survival versus chemotherapy in the Phase 3 ALLURE trial. In the randomized open-label study, patients were enrolled who progressed following treatment with platinum-based chemotherapy and crizotinib. Roche, the developer of alectinib, stated that the full study data will be published later this year. The FDA approved the second-generation ALK inhibitor in December 2015 as a second-line treatment for patients with metastatic ALK-positive non-small cell lung cancer. Finally, the European Union approved the combination of gebrafenib and trametinib for patients with BRAF V600-positive advanced or metastatic non-small cell lung cancer. The decision stemmed from a Phase 2 study in which 36 treatment-naive patients and 57 previously treated patients were assigned to 150 milligrams twice daily of gebrafenib and 2 milligrams once daily of trametinib. Results showed that the overall response rate was 61.1% in the treatment-naive group, and 68% of patients did not show progression. The ORR was 66.7% in the previously treated population. That's all for today. Thank you for watching OncLive News Network. I'm Brielle Arcioli.